Okay guys, we're back. This time it's episode 29 of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Gonna play Baby Mario because of this topical point that Baby Mario is vaguely related to. Plus I had some nice rambling points. We're recording super late, so if you hear just on and off cicadas, I'm gonna try to have them more quiet, and as long as we're talking it shouldn't be too bad. But that's what happens late night in the, southern summers. Fucking cicadas, man. So, because tiny character, again, with my current build, in order to get, that's just absurd. If I'm sticking with this vehicle, then the best option I've got are some of those larger wheels. Even those aren't, super, super ideal. That's
Do we have the monster?
I think, and I don't think it was...
There it is.
Yeah, and it's worse than what I was... That's the best we're gonna do!
Oh boy.
Unless I change to a heavy vehicle or just go all Excel! So, today, as per usual, because I go that, and then that, and then that, and then that. Sorga, what?
Nothing. I was going to point out something, but nothing.
Today is Star Cup. Because I do the down and up. Now, if I have to restart, before the end slate is going to be a montage of really bullshit failures, and some cart parts if I earn any from restarting. If I do this in one go, then it's just a single video and it just cuts to the end like normal. But only time will tell. I'm going to be quiet while the game's loading, and then I had a lot of just interesting kind of rambly points because a lot was going on. I just kind of wanted to vaguely talk about, but see you guys in a minute here. So, this is another attempt. I've changed vehicles to the more go-kart type vehicles because they even out tiny characters a little bit more, but the drifting is going to be a little bit odd. But the extra speed is way more important to me. Anyway, so last time, as I was, saying before, I had a stupid loss, basically, I was discussing how I got in a comment discussion, and it was an interesting topic of clone characters and what, should and shouldn't be done, and we had a discussion about, they also agreed that the Koopalings were not, in fact, overused, and that it was just kind of a silly argument, which is cool.
Because everyone acts like there are so many new Super Mario Brothers games when it's actually only 4.
And the Koopalings were just in 7, 8 games. But anyway, so we also got in a discussion. They were talking about baby characters or the metal characters or what have you. First of all, I was never bothered by these characters as it stands anyway.
Because, at least for all of the babies, except for Baby Rosalina and Daisy, Mario, Luigi, and Peach, all of their baby forms come from Yoshi's Island and Yoshi's Island DS. So they technically started there. Also, the reason the baby characters exist in the first place is so if someone, wants to play Peach, but they don't want to use a medium-class character, you could play the baby, and therefore...
This is a way better setup. Yeah, this works out better because small characters have, shit. Anywho. And Double Dash for Baby Mario and Baby Luigi, to me, it's just kind of well, they're in the franchise, but then we got in a discussion about drop-down menus, and I said that, like, all the Marios should be in a drop-down menu just so it looks less cluttered, and you still get the alternate weight class options, which is why I like the babies and the metal characters anyway. Metal Mario was also in Smash Brothers, which basically, in my opinion, means Metal Mario was always kind of his own character, at least for almost 20 years now. You know, like, a little over, it's basically like 18. So, our discussion was more about just how people perceive the characters, and it's just kind of a ridiculous, point.
And I had brought up the type of menu you could use. The Yoshis, you can select multiple colors for a Yoshi, just do that type of menu.
The villagers in also, the initial release were not...
They weren't their own characters. You could choose the male or female villager.
And they were their own weight class.
Well, technically they were both medium, it's just they were the size.
They were a different medium.
Yes.
Fucking game, fucking game, fucking game. God damn it. Give me something good. Give me something good. Yeah, it's alright, I guess. Ha! So, and then I brought up a little fun fact that Baby Mario in, Double Dash, his textures are inside of his model on top of his legs. So, that's a random little fun fact that's kind of cool. Where they stored his textures inside of the model. Now, last time, I had a more of a major point that I started trying to get to, but, it was more in the next track because we continued just kind of random little baby facts and tidbits since the baby characters, which I don't have a problem with, and I like the nice even weight class. We brought up, like, you think Baby Wario and Donkey Kong would exist, but they haven't used them in a Mario Kart. Now, the point I was trying to get to, like, I've got a Discord, and I'm trying to get more people to my Discord and more people to my Patreon. Hint, hint. My highest tier is $3. That's easy to afford.
It's just...
no, I'm not even kidding. It's $3.
Just random...
if you pay me the $3, you get access to my videos early. If you're into that. But anywho.
Random. Thing I wanted to bring up. This will be somewhere in Breath of the Wild because of the time these things are being recorded. I had brought up Fire Emblem Awakening in Breath of the Wild, but when we recorded that, whenever that part was, I hadn't beat it yet. I have beat it now, and now that I have beat it, even though I've only played it and Sacred Stones, I can definitively say Awakening is the best Fire Emblem. It just is. It fixes so many problems from the old games.
Now, the point I was going to try to just kind of ramble about, where if interesting topics get brought up on Discord, and I feel like those topics are worth discussing, I will, likely talk about...
This is the fighting game thing, isn't it?
A little bit of that, a little bit of some other stuff. Just because Sean, like, we have a section where people can ask questions. I normally don't ask questions because I put questions at the end of my videos, not that anyone has ever answered those. I asked those questions because I'm trying to get viewer involvement, but anyway, Sean and some other people had asked some really good and some interesting questions, and this topic wasn't a question that was asked. Well, one topic I wanted to quickly cover was a question that was asked, but I'll get to that in a moment here. Sean finally had watched one of my parts where it was that one where me and Carson were discussing competitive fighting games and talking about how fighting games really should be changed and made more accessible, and Sean is still in the camp that it shouldn't. Sean's statement was that he said changing a competitive fighting game or making an open world game the way I want it to be would not bring in as many people as I think it would, and he said that all it would do was alienate a lot of core people. For fighting games specifically, as I brought up in those videos, and I will just say this again because there are enough numbers to generally support this argument, fighting games competitively are played by a small margin of fans. That small margin of fans, there's a lot of people who would play the game if it wasn't as competitively focused, where the game is harder to do shit. When a game is made more open, or as some would say, like casual or dumbed down, it is consistently a better game as far as sales go and what people generally consider the game when it comes to being good. And those numbers, I really do feel, are a good proof when it comes to the whole dumbing it down, as someone might say. Because, and Sean treats it as, oh, but these are like the major people, so you're alienating them, and therefore the franchise will fail. That, in some cases, can only kind of work, but that's because the people who want it the old way are just crotchety assholes.
Let me put it this way. Shin Megami Tensei doesn't have 2 fighting game spin-offs and a rhythm game. Persona is the one that has that. And Persona is the series that's going on to be the super successful one because it bucked most of the old trends.
And Shin Megami fans, and this is a funny example since Sean really likes Persona, Shin Megami fans look at Persona and go, oh, this is too dumbed down, you're just a bunch of babies, you can't handle the real series. And I see that kind of argument all the time. And that's a good kind of example where Sean likes Persona, not that he's like against, like, you know, the full kind of Shin Megami, but...
Didn't he play Digital Devil Saga? It's the one he has on the PS3, right?
I think... Yeah. Oh, this is gonna come in so clutch.
But...
Booyah!
But again, we have it's like, look at the success that, you know, Persona's Gaiden, and look at the success Shin Megami Tensei had, and even in the case of Persona, it didn't get that success until 4 Golden.
Persona is a really good example, and I will always, because despite Sean and Brian have kind of tried to dispute this, but this is a fact. Fire Emblem was literally a dying series, and the developers were told, if your next game does not meet X amount of units and does not get X amount of popularity, we are just going to deem Fire Emblem as a failed franchise, and we are not going to continue it. we are going to cut our losses and stop the series. The developers had to make a Fire Emblem game. And the Fire Emblem game the developers had to make had to meet the criteria to be deemed successful and lively. And what they did to pull this off was introduce a mode in which permadeath is gone. They also fixed a bunch of other flaws in the game.
Also, Awakening just has general better map design and not as dickously placed units. Also no fog.
Now I'm gonna end this video and probably keep rambling into the next video because of an actual question that was asked instead of just repeating my main points, but keeping a series as trying to hold old fans to your series is fine, and I'm not against that idea because even myself, certain series had some changes in some newer entries, and even I'm like, okay, this is a no. I can at least admit to that, but if a change I feel is positive, I'm normally okay with it, but fighting games are a forever self-serving circle jerk that the only reason it maintains itself is because there's just enough people in that niche market. But to use fighting games, because what I'm about to say, this is kind of skewed, and I can kind of ramble this into the next part, but we kind of cover this. Street Fighter V, statistically, did amazing, but the reason it was deemed kind of a failure, and the reason people look at it and go, see, it changed things, and it's a terrible game, the changing it, making it more casual, was not what people hated. It was the literal
People hated that the game was unfinished.
Critically, and this is why I'm not the technical raw sales numbers, because that game kind of deserved bad sales for having, I'm just going to release a game with, key features missing, and I'm going to charge you full price, charge you for DLC and shit. No. That game should be panned for that. But
first, quick point was that, to be fair, I don't know if they ever owned up to this. Apparently, you could use in-game currency to buy the DLC characters. You didn't have to use real money. I don't know if they ever actually did do that, but people said they did.
The game was
unfinished is the point.
That's why it got panned, not for being easy. Critically, and this matters the most for my opinion here, people who had never really played fighting games or didn't like them being complicated, they loved the battle system of the game. Everyone was cool with the simplified system except for elitist old pros. The complaints are because the game was missing key features, which, casual or competitive, you have a complete right to complain about that. Because that is obnoxious. That's why I give Final Fantasy 15 shit.
Yes.
But critically, the critical reception, especially in a casual market, eclipsed the other Street Fighters. That is a perfect example. The elitist people cried foul and treated the game like it was the worst. But casual people who couldn't really play fighting games, were like, this is what I needed. Give me more of it.
No, I don't.
Okay. We're recording.
Oh,
Sorry about that. Probably heard that on the microphone. It's really late. But anyway, I'm going to end this, kind of ramble on and off into the next video. Mario Kart is not the good rambling times. But I'm just trying to keep the commentary based on stuff going on because it gives me more to talk about. Gotta make these races less mundane. But anyway, this has been episode 29, 150cc Mirror Mode Star Cup. Coming up in just a moment is the Kart part I earned. And after that is the reason I failed and had to restart. And then, Inslate and my question, which I would love more people to answer. I'm trying to interact with more people. Come to the Discord, join the chaos. But anyway, see you guys next time. Well, I earned a new card part. We'll see what that is. Fucking hell. Funny enough, that's really balanced. Just due to some stuff that's happening, because, again, oh, of course. Of course. Of course. Of course.
Wait,
of course. Of course. Of course. This is going to be junked. This is going to be junked. Unless I am able to ass pull and a half. Come on, come on, come on, come on. No, 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 no. Ooh, you're gonna super. Yep,
Wait, but he just used the super horn.
No, I'm going to lose. Of course. Yep, that's junk. It's fucking junk. Okay, guys, so my question of the day is, what do you think of Baby Mario, and do you have a problem with him being in Mario Kart games? I personally think it's fine. As I said, it's a good way to have a tiny character and also have that tiny character be Mario, and I think that helps even out the weight class between the different characters on the roster. But anyway, I would really love to know what you guys think. You can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments below, or you can leave them on social media. All my social media links are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a show for a minute. If you liked my video, please hit the like button and leave some comments. If you're new to my channel and want to see more of my videos, please hit the subscription button and subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please ring the bell next to the subscription button. That gives you the proper notifications of whenever I upload a new video. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media. Doing all of these things really helps out the channel, and it really helps our communities grow. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys next time.